last question here. It says, "Hi, David. Congratulations on the launch of your podcast. Thanks a lot, mate. Really appreciate." It says, "I'm not sure if this is a question or a topic of conversation. Censorship. While the topic of censorship is not new in this strange new world we live in, it's happening. I find it unsettling. There is so much outrage culture and cancel culture, and it's even affecting several podcasts I listen to. They are under threat of censorship and cancellation. Since you're now a podcaster and potentially discussing controversial topics, what's your feeling? Is it okay to say, if you don't like the message, change the station? I constantly see on my social media feed that I must think this way, see things from only one perspective, or be canceled, aka unfriended. It appears that conversations from different perspectives or even asking a question are now no longer welcome. Are you seeing the same messages? If you read this far, thank you. I sure hope venues begin to open soon and music can be played to a live audience. I'd sure like to see a Havoc show again. Cheers." Well. There's a lot there. I did make it, somehow. My out loud reading skills could definitely get sharpened here, but the idea of censorship, yeah, it's a fucking huge thing. It has been for a long time. There was a PMRC in the 80s, 90s trying to censor rock albums and porno music, as they called it, with foul language that they wanted to protect children from. You said, is it okay to say, if you don't like the message, change the station? That is definitely how I feel. If you don't like what somebody is saying, you don't have to listen to it. Nobody's forcing you to listen to anybody. You know, anybody that's on a television or radio or on a podcasting app or on YouTube or whatever, you don't have to listen to that person. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. It's as simple as that. It really comes down to freedom of choice. And the First Amendment, freedom of speech. The First Amendment is the first for a reason. It's the most important one. If you get rid of the First Amendment, you get rid of all the rest of them. If the First Amendment goes, you can basically kiss the rest of them goodbye. The freedom of speech is the most important thing that we have. Because once you start limiting what people are allowed to say and what people are allowed to talk about, that's a very, very dangerous territory to start edging into. That's when you get into true levels of fascism and complete totalitarian dictatorships. We need the free exchange of ideas. That's one of the things that makes the world go round and makes innovation happen. The free exchange of ideas is how we get to better ideas. We need open debate and we need people to be expressing ideas because that's how we get progress. There's no other way around it. If everybody is shut up and put into this mental cage and essentially mentally castrated, we never get any progress. We get everybody just sounding like a parrot of everybody else. And we have no new ideas. We just have everybody kind of doing the status quo and regurgitating these same tired ideas. And we just kind of get stagnant and, I would say in a metaphorical way, our brains become moldy and just turn into mush. That is the opposite of what we need, especially in today's world. So the notion of censorship is a very important topic today. It always has been, but especially now, because we're seeing people in jeopardy of losing their means of letting their voice be heard for saying things that certain people don't agree with. I think that's very disturbing. Even the stupidest ideas should be allowed to have a platform to say the stupid idea. Because if you don't have the stupid ideas to compare the good ideas to, you're never going to know which is which. I want stupid ideas to be shouted from the mountaintops so that they could be A-B'd against good ideas. If you have a debate between someone who has a horrible idea and someone who has a good idea in opposition to the bad idea, you can watch these two people duke it out verbally, And ultimately most people will come to the conclusion that, oh, this person that was talking all this crazy nonsense is, on the losing end of this argument. That's a bad idea. Okay, cool. Bad idea identified. Like racism. Talking about the KKK or something like that. Now, I don't agree with what the KKK stands for or what they say or what their beliefs are. But I would fight for their right to be able to say those bad ideas. And who doesn't want complete idiot racists to express themselves? Wouldn't you want the complete idiot racist to identify themselves to everybody else? I don't know about you, but I want the idiot racist to identify themselves as such, because then it's much easier to show people an example of a bad idea and then to steer clear of that bad idea. And then you also know what those people are really all about and what they're like. And then you know to, okay, avoid that dude. Like, let's not invite Bob over to our parties anymore. He's a fucking asshole. Freedom of speech is the number one most important thing that we have in this country, and we need to make sure that we keep it around, because the moment that you start being okay with other people getting silenced because you don't like what they had to say, you're next. All of a sudden, someone doesn't like what you have to say, and then guess who's going to get censored? Guess who's going to get shut down? That's where this mindset leads to. Eventually, you just need to look at where the dominoes eventually will keep falling. If you're okay with censoring people that say things that you don't like, eventually that is going to come back to bite you in the ass, because the next thing you know, you're going to be the one getting censored. You have to look at these things with some sort of foresight. You can't just say like, oh, it won't ever apply to me because I'm right and I'm just about things. Well, our metrics of what is good and right are constantly changing and updating. So what's acceptable today might not be looked at as an acceptable thing 100 years from now. Right now, more than ever, we really do need people to be proponents of free speech and kind of come together on this idea of like anti-censorship. We should let all of the ideas just run wild. Let them all loose. And then we can pick and choose the ones that we think are good ideas. Typically, the good ideas are the ones that are going to thrive and stick around for a while. The bad ideas will be identified and kicked to the curb. Isn't that what we all kind of want? We want progress. We don't want people to be shut up and boxed in and put chains on people's minds. It's a huge mistake. A very dangerous road to go down. So those are my thoughts on censorship. I'm completely against it. And anybody that is for it, you really need to figure out where your priorities are and where your head is. Because if you're for censoring other people, unwittingly, you may be next. Hey everybody, thanks a lot for checking this out. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. If you want to support the podcast, you can always go to riffsordie.com and pick up some merch. You can also go to patreon.com/riffsordie and subscribe to become a patron. Feel free to shoot me an email at podcast@riffsordie.com. All questions and comments are welcome. Thanks a lot for your support. Take care, everybody.